No, I don't mind being wrong at all. We just follow through and check things out. I'm gonna go.
I read. Very good.
Can't wait to see this. No, we're putting this on the website.
I got it crooked. I got it out of focus the first 10, 15 minutes of the meeting. I couldn't figure out where the Zoom was.
Yes.
Okay, let's get back to order. Let's take G, information calendar, information consent calendar. Do we have anything to close the consent consideration? I see nothing. Do we have a motion to approve? Let's receive and file. Second. Motion approved by Larry, second by Jim. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. H1, minutes for September 3rd and 5th, budget, and minutes for October 8th.
I have some discussion on
Larry's got some discussion.
budget.
Okay. Which one?
There's not much discussion.
That's great. Nonverbal cue.
I just wanted to make sure that it reflects, as part of the action, that
Which one are you on?
September 3, 4, and 5 minutes.
Okay.
I guess page 7. There's just something I think was left out. I think we should kind of go on page 7. Basically, it was when we agreed to set aside $300,000 per year of tobacco settlement to be the funding source for the swimming pool. I don't see that.
200,000.
200,000.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, what was it,
300 sounded good to me.
200. Sorry about that.
That's the total amount.
All kinds of mistakes.
I'll forgive you.
Excuse me, yeah, it was the 200,000. Basically, I just wanted the minutes to reflect that we identified the funding source and that it was voted on.
Well, and I think what was, if I can add to that, Mr. Chairman, I think what, we've been, that we can't encumber future boards. So obviously, future boards can rearrange the priority, but we wanted to make this board's stance was that it's the intent that for at least the 13 of the 15 years of this proposed time period, that the funding source for the county's share of that commitment would come out of this $300,000 pot. So 200,000 that would be the expectation of where the funding would come from.
I didn't
So-
see that in there, I don't know, maybe I overlooked it, but.
We'll make that correction.
So if you, on page 7, under where it says expenditures, there about 3/4 of the way down. If we just add a line, $200,000 from the tobacco settlement money for the county's contribution to the pool project.
Yeah, so what it really comes down to is the $336,000 out of the tobacco settlement money was being utilized to balance the budget. And that included, the budget included the $200,000 allocation. So what we were doing is we were taking, actually as it came down to it, is you have expenditures down below. We added $20,000 for the beaver pool from the tobacco settlement fund. So it's in a similar kind of a fashion.
The reason it's not in here is that, you know, at your request, it was in the proposed budget, so it didn't really
Right.
technically need to be
Well,
added.
I think maybe a paragraph or a sentence that put is in there is to just to state for future boards' benefits that this funding scheme that was outlined in terms of how to balance the budget, intent, 200,000 of the 336,000 of the tobacco settlement monies is being earmarked for, you know, school support.
It was an important item that was discussed at the meeting, and the minutes don't reflect that conversation. So,
Okay, I need to figure out the best way to put this in, because
Well,
you
I would
have
say,
4 pages of
Mr.
motions on those
Chairman,
minutes.
that we not take action today on these minutes and let that be worked out. The wordsmithing on that, to try to do it on the fly here now is not the appropriate way to do it. We could take these up at the next meeting and have specifically what that,
We'll come up with some language.
yeah.
Let's just take that, October 8th minutes and
Yeah.
do that.
I move to approve.
Second. We have a second.
I'll second.
We got a motion and a second. Mr. Spencer, you have
I have kind of a comment. We, as you know, or you don't know, we get copies of the audio of your meetings, and we offer them free to the public. We had over 100 requests for the September 5th budget hearing, only because it was so funny. We took up a collection, and I haven't bought them yet, but we took up a collection of people that were amused by that meeting for calculators for you guys. So because it's apparent during most of that meeting, none of you could add or subtract. It was humorous. It was disturbing, it was humorous, and we continue to offer that particular meeting of you guys. There are several comments in there about, I think you made one and Mr. Pyle made one, about thank goodness it wasn't being videoed. Well, you still have to remember, it is there. You have to remember you're still being audio taped, and your comments were extraordinary. That meeting was extraordinary. Even after you were hit by the light, you know, it wasn't videotaped, but the audio of that is precious. The minutes cannot ever reflect, or you don't want them to reflect, the September 5th budget hearing meeting. If it was, I don't think any of you would sit up here very long, because it shows a glaring fact of your competence.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to make sure the record reflects, on the audio, this probably won't make it into the minutes, but on the audio, is at that particular meeting, not only did I have a laptop that had calculator capabilities involved in terms of the Excel spreadsheets doing the I also had a personal calculator that I was using to determine the numbers that I was working with at that particular meeting. So to say that you want to take up a collection to get us a calculator,
We will
that's
find
fine.
one.
I already have one, so I don't need one, thank you. And I did use it that meeting, and I use it whenever we deal with numbers. So I appreciate the interest, but thanks, but no
Oh,
thanks.
you're welcome.
Okay. Obviously, there was one comment. Any comments on October 8th minutes?
Not that one, that was something different.
Iona, you
Something
got a
different,
comment?
something different. I wanted to ask a question, but it had nothing to do with the prior conversation.
Is it about the minutes?
And it was just about the agenda.
Vote on the minutes
Can we
first.
vote on the minutes
We're
first?
voting right now on October 8th minutes.
Okay.
That's the agenda item. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The next item of discussion is information to the Board of Supervisors and the CAO.
No additional information today.
No additional information. Anybody from the public wish to make a comment before we adjourn the meeting?
Yes,
Iona,
please.
come to the stand and.
Yes, I will.
Gee,
I am okay. Thank you, Chairman. Study session as necessary. Does this have anything to do with the RCD board, Honey Lake?
That's just part of our agenda, there's nothing on there.
Okay, were we supposed to have a 1:30 meeting today at RC regarding the Honey Lake RCD?
Got
on the
nothing to do with
22nd?
us. What the RCD does is their business, not
No, I
ours.
thought there was going to be a study open to the public
Here?
at 1:30. I thought there was to be.
I am not aware of that, Mrs.
Thank you.
Okay. Meeting adjourned.
Everyone throwing these out.